Hi, I'm meteorologist Tony Petrarca in the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center. You've clicked on the Weather Now link on a cloudy and certainly cooler, colder day today with gray skies looking at Narragansett Town Beach as of about almost 3:30 in the afternoon. There's some rough surf there, but otherwise low tide. Temperatures that are only low to mid 40s. Look at the numbers. As of the 3 o'clock hour, currently 45 in Providence. When you compare the temperature now to this time yesterday, and as expected, we were talking about this last night and this morning, nearly 15 to 25 degrees colder or cooler. And what's ironic, and this is very typical during the early spring season, kind of a roller coaster, we're going to be 15 to 20 degrees milder tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at what is on the weather menu. Fog, locally dense, is on the way for later tonight, along with some areas of drizzle. Despite the clouds today, we've only had a little bit of sprinkle activity. It's been basically dry. But the approach of a warm front is going to bring in some dense fog near and after midnight with areas of both mist and drizzle. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if the National Weather Service issues some sort of a dense fog advisory overnight, early tomorrow morning. I do expect these visibilities to be quite poor. It'll extend into early on Thursday morning. We are warmer on Thursday, especially by afternoon, though we'll watch for some of that fog and around dawn, along with some areas of drizzle. As far as steadier rain showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, I think that's going to be reserved for late Thursday afternoon into early Thursday evening. Friday and the weekend, Easter weekend, is looking better. So on the satellite photo, you see it's mainly cloudy skies. Hasn't been much in the way of precipitation. One reason why it's cool, well, obviously the cloud cover, but take note of the wind direction here. You can see these little arrows coming in out of the east and northeast. This is just a lousy wind direction during early spring. Water temperatures out here only low to mid 40s, so that's just bringing this kind of cool, damp ocean air right on top of us. And what we have is this front draped across the northeast right now, and all it's doing is separating cool air on one side of it and very mild air to the south of it, and some of that mild air is going to try to get in. Here's the wider view, and let's talk about fronts here. And we just showed you the this front right in here. This is what we call a stationary front, and back here is a cold front. So this front is headed our way for later this evening and overnight. And what it will do is just enhance both dense fog and drizzle. And then front number 2 is a cold front out west, which is actually creating some severe weather. That's approaching here by later Thursday afternoon, early Thursday evening, between about 5 and 9 o'clock in the evening. And that will produce a shower or maybe an isolated thunderstorm. And keep in mind, all these fronts are doing is just separating different air masses. So we have cool air on top of us now, the milder air to the south, and then cooler air back in here. So we're going to get into some of this warmer air for tomorrow now. We're not forecasting 80s, but, kind of upper 60s headed our way for Thursday afternoon, despite the chill that we have right now. So when we step you through the forecast hour by hour, this is 7 o'clock in the evening, low clouds, these little areas of green just indicating spots of mist and some drizzle. But as we get deeper into the nighttime, this is during the overnight. Now, this is after midnight, and the concern here is that some of this fog is going to be locally dense. Temperatures upper 40s to low 50s. These green speckles, especially near the coastline, is drizzle. And then here we are on Thursday morning at around 8 o'clock. Note the temperature. It is significantly milder. I mean, it's well into the 50s at 8 o'clock in the morning, but dense fog and these blips of green indicating mist and some drizzle. Now, let's advance things to, let's go into the afternoon. Here we are at about 2 o'clock. And take note, while it's still cloudy, it's very subtle. But look at these breaks in the overcast. There'll be a little bit of partial sun. Look what it does to the temperatures. Well into the 60s inland, 50s along the coastline. The fog may be hard-pressed to burn off along the south shore in the afternoon, but just go inland, visibility improving. Now, the approach of a cold front, well, first of all, this is around 5 o'clock in the evening. You see the breaks in the clouds, partial sun. Look what it does to the temperatures, upper 60s. Could we get near 70? Take note, the coastline is going to be held in the mid-50s, where I really don't think any sun breaks out. But inland, now it's not complete clearing, but a little bit of partial brightening before the approach of the cold front. And you can see between roughly 5 and 9 o'clock in the evening, showers and an isolated thunderstorm. Then notice by 11 o'clock, most of that has moved offshore. We'll see some clearing late Thursday night. Sets up for a brighter Friday. So for this evening, cloudy, cool, and damp. Fog and drizzle become more of a factor as we get closer to midnight. And again, the concern here is that that fog will be locally dense late at night into the early morning hours of Thursday. We will wake up to fog and drizzle, but it's a lot milder at 7 a.m., 53. And temperatures really jumping up. 11 o'clock in the morning, 59, mostly cloudy. Now, during the afternoon, don't look for complete clearing, but a little bit of partial sun will try to sneak through the cloud cover. It's really going to boost up the temperatures. I'm being somewhat conservative here, forecasting mid to upper 60s, but if we get any extra sun through the cloud cover, some spots away from the ocean could reach 70. I think the risk of any scattered showers or thunderstorm would be reserved towards the end of the day, around 6 o'clock in the evening. Let me show you the Bay forecast because the fog and the drizzle is certainly going to be an issue, especially during the early morning, and especially along the coastline. Southwest wind at 10 to 15, gusts to 20, and waves of around 1 to 3 feet. The good news here, we're going to dry out and get some sunshine in here by Friday, and it does set up for a nice Easter weekend.